Hey there, everybody on Packed and Things. My name is Zach Clayton, and you guys on Things know Mr. Nick here. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. How about you?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, pretty good. So we have something very unique for us on the Pack channel because, we don't do stuff like this all the time. You guys do know Nick from his show every Friday, or I'm sorry, every Wednesday.
Every
Before
Wednesday.
yeah. Before the Pact, um, uh, before the Pact show, and what we're going to do is my wife right now is in Canyon City, Colorado, and they're about ready to participate in a ghost hunt. Nick, tell everybody a little bit about what is the procedure of a ghost hunt.
Well, the way how I usually see it is when it comes to certain ghost hunts, I think it's just pretty much proving the reality that there's something certainly beyond, after when we pass away. And especially if it's occurring in especially if it's involving us like in old it's sorry, I just kept notice. Especially when it's occurring in old historic buildings or locations, but even some of the newer locations will have this, where some type of energy is usually left behind, especially if someone had a really big connection to it, or if they lived there, if they owned it. And I think basically when it comes to ghost hunting, obviously, is just simply trying to find the evidence of what else is beyond this realm. In other words, yes.
Well, where they're at tonight is in which this is right down, Nick, this is right down your expertise, because we're talking about a very, very historic spot here in Colorado. It is the Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado.
Oh wow.
And let me go on ahead and do that to widen it out a little bit. Hey, Nick, maybe you can explain this to me. It says right here that it was established in 1886, yet the groundbreaking wasn't until 1924. I obviously didn't get a lot of time to look at this, but have you ever experienced anything like that? And why would that happen?
At a particular location like this, if you're asking?
Yeah. Something where it would have been established in 1886, but not open until it looks like 25.
Yeah, actually, I think it's I think it's 1924, actually.
Yeah, the groundbreaking was 24, completion date was 25.
Oh, I see it now. Yep. Okay, I can see it. I haven't really been to a lot of locations like that, but I know quite a lot of them. Is that like when you have a building that's being established and it doesn't open until several years later, and it's typical for such locations like this to occur, but when you're certainly building and it's still something that even still occurs with what with our buildings of today, is when they're like really putting the pieces together of this building. I mean, to this certain type of these certain type of buildings, and with again such typical. This was much more common back then. There was always accidents usually in the during the process, and like when it also comes to buildings that again when it comes to accidents especially. Well, actually, no. Jeremy actually just pointed out something else I just saw in the comments. There might have also been something else there before they built the monastery. I didn't even. That was actually something I was trying to think of. Was there may have also been something there prior as well.
Well, see, I'm wondering because up in the top line it says the Abbey of Holy Cross in Canyon City is formerly Monastery of the Order of Saint Benedict in the United States. So I'm wondering if maybe that was started at first. And I know Adrienne knows a lot more. Knows a little bit more. She's getting the history of it right now. They're getting set up. But it says that two Benedictine monks were sent in 1886 from St. Vincent Arch Abbey in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. and traveled to Breckenridge, Colorado, which is just beautiful, by the way.
I've been there.
Yeah, and established this monastery or monastic community in what was still frontier territory. So, and but this is one place that apparently has been pretty active recently. And just some facts about it is it's when when it ended, it was Roman Catholic. I guess it went through a couple different religions, but it ended up as Roman Catholic, and it closed in 2006. And they're saying because it was no longer viable, the monks decided to dissolve it and put themselves in other monasteries.
Yeah.
So, but it looks like there's quite a bit of stuff going on here. So I know that it was saved because people in Colorado put it on the National Historic Reservation. And I know that's something that you and I have talked about quite a bit, just because, there's so many of these buildings that we unfortunately lose. People see a building like this that closes, and all of a sudden the talk comes, well, is it any, is there a reason why we're keeping it around? Why is this still up and running? What are we going to do with it? Well, let's make condos out of it. I'm glad to see that this is going. One of the things that Adrienne has told me is that they're going to be they're going to be working the second floor and up. So another just warning to everyone, this is only going to last as long as the web will hold out their hot spots, because web coverage there is pretty thin. So but yeah, Nick, what other things, what are some of the places that you've been that have religious overtones?
Well, let's see. I need to start writing these lists out so I can remember. I know I've been to a few places that have had, not that had a religious theme to it. In fact, actually, one just came up, and this has actually been one that's even been featured on at least two paranormal shows before our visit. And that was Saddamsville Rectory in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's obviously it's exactly what you would imagine it would be. It was a rectory. Of course, it no longer operates as a rectory. As a matter of fact, as of right now, the owners of the place no longer own it. So as of right now, it is closed. But this whole thing that they've been talking about, it's kind of weird. It's an unusual place. It did operate as a normal rectory, but at the same time, it was kind of it actually kind of also operated as like, oh, sorry, I thought I lost you there for a second. I saw the picture.
No, just showing a couple of pictures that.
Yeah, but with Saddamsville Rectory, it operated as a rectory for a little while, but then it also operated as kind of like as a halfway house, if you will. It's hard for me to say, let's just say for some of the bad priests, if you know what I mean. So there's also, in spite of being basically a sanctuary for priests, it was also a place where, they didn't really have any of these other priests to put them. I guess, I don't know exactly what the state laws were for the state of Ohio at that time, but nobody chose the prisoner death penalty for that. I think the juries just thought that these priests were all just too old, so they sent them to this rectory for the time being, probably until they died. So that's, yes, it's kind of half and half, but that's kind of been the closest I've been to investigating a location. Well, and of course the Masonic Temple, in Salina, Kansas.
Yeah, that's where I had the privilege of meeting all of you guys the first time, and had a great time there. So you get as good of a picture, I guess, as we're going to get, right now of the front of the building. I'd imagine that's the front of the building. I know that if I go back here, she was talking about that there was a small cemetery there for the monks and the nuns that were in the building. One of the things that she did learn about it was I know it's in here somewhere. In this place, there was a minister, and I can't verify this. Okay, this is what I was told here. But there was a minister that molested kids, then committed suicide. And so they said that this place has been extremely active recently. What is it? And I would love for you guys to go on ahead and pop up any comments or anything. But what is it that makes these places more active? What and you guys need to remember, I'm a novice at this. Okay, I'm still actually more of a skeptic than I am of anything. Even though I mean, I got to believe in the afterlife. You guys know my wife; she's going to kill me sometime. But so I'm hoping for the afterlife here. But I still I don't know a whole lot about this. But what makes level of activity increase?
Well, now that you mentioned about this priest, especially, who apparently molested, it's exactly just like what I was saying about Saddamsville. I think also with especially certain types of acts that people have committed, it may not even, in some cases, it doesn't always have to occur at the location itself. Whatever this person did, again, it's like what I said earlier, that energy could remain. And that could not necessarily affect the person themselves that's investigating, but I think that when it comes to certain negative acts, if you will, I think that can cause some of the activity to be much more higher than in other areas. But it's even more higher though if the crime itself, especially if it's something like this or especially a murder, that will cause the activity to go even higher. Or I don't know obviously where this priest, because you said he committed suicide. I don't know where this priest committed suicide from, but same thing too for suicide.
Well, yeah, I'm looking here, and of course it's not going to say anything about that on Wikipedia to help me out. So trying to find other places where to look, I mean, it would be nice to do that, but I'm not the professional you are. And
see, if I knew if Adrienne was going to this about a week or so prior, honestly, I probably would have done a Nick Files episode on this church, because that's actually something new I've been doing lately. Is I'm now taking in requests from people who have investigations coming up, and if they want me to talk about on Nick Files, prior to the investigation, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Well, that's actually great. I hope that you get more people who will take you up on that. One of the things that we're seeing here is that it originally was called the Priory of Saint Mary. So, do you know a lot about the difference between like an abbey or a priory? Is there a real difference?
Not very much. I am a religious person, but I don't really look too much into a lot of religion. But that's actually a question that I've been wondering myself too. Like, what's the difference between a priory and an abbey? So I guess at this point I'll just have to see what the difference is between them just by looking them up. As it says here, this is. Oh wait, no, this is just going on the okay. Here's difference between.com. Abbey and priory are Christian monasteries. These two are synonymous terms, and it's hard to make out a difference between the two. Just scrolling through, abbey is a monastery or a group of monks and nuns who are very much devoted to celibacy in religion. The men inmates in abbey are called monks, and women inmates are called nuns. monks are under an abbot and nuns under an abbess. If I'm saying that correctly. And then priory is sometimes regarded as subordinate to abbey. The prior is generally lower in rank than the abbot. The monks and nuns chose the abbot or abbess among themselves, and later clarified by the bishop of the diocese. The prior and prioress are chosen in two ways. One way is that the inmates themselves choose their leader, and the other way is that the prior of the priors is subject to the will of the abbot.
Okay, so that would kind of like basically it would be like in the order, I mean, you're going to have, since of course we're talking about Roman Catholic Church, you're going to have, the Pope and all
The
that,
cardinals,
and then you're right, the cardinals, and keep going down. You're just going to have basically their homes all in one. So, all right. Well, thank you very much, Jeremy. Hey, Jeremy, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to talk to you before. Good luck, brother. You have any need, give me a call. All right. But good luck. Heart's with you. Take care of yourself. So, but so you got Brad Webb, who's saying you should do Rose Opera House in Kentucky.
I've never heard of that one. Although I have heard of a similar opera house like that I have investigated called the Rossville Opera House, but that's down in central Illinois. But I've never heard of if I'm saying it correctly, the Rose Opera House. That's a new one.
Yeah, we got one in our area. It's called the Dickens.
The Dickens, okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've gone there quite often and watched metal shows. I'm a huge fan of metal music, and so I've gone there. I've got some friends that play in metal bands, and you have that the talk of seeing people seeing stuff up top, and you talk to all the employees and you can hear like the curtains drop and stuff like that every once in a while. So it's really kind of neat listening to people, again, me not having an experience to where I can actually say, hey, I'm a true believer. I listen to all this stuff and I try to find the scientific reasoning behind it. I absolutely believe in afterlife and all that other things, but here you go. They're going to be doing
here's an investigation. Yeah, I could do an investigation. I mean, I could do a Nick Files episode prior. Just send me the date, Brad, and I'll schedule it in.
So, and I take this. I take it that this is the Brad that my wife is always yelling at. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, yeah. So, well, it's good to meet you finally, Brad. Hey, it's kind of nice seeing another guy get yelled at for a change. So, hey, I love it. I love it. So, thank you for taking that responsibility for me on Thursdays. Yeah, what is the and this is a this is a question for all of you guys out there. What is the most conclusive experience that yeah, Brad, this really was but they had to get up there. I guess it didn't show up until about 6:00 tonight, our time, and they had to leave. They had to be up there by 7. So, but what is the most conclusive evidence you have ever seen?
Well, it's funny because I've actually recently brought this up. It's also not only the most conclusive, it's actually the first time I've ever really captured any type of evidence, in fact, on camera. It's too bad Jeremy had left already because he would know this story all too well. And we've actually shown it on Supernatural Talk a few times. Was at the Crown Point Jail, obviously in Crown Point, Indiana. And we were trying to shoot, originally for like this paranormal documentary series that Jeremy wanted to work on. And the first time that we were up there, that we were there, myself and also my friend Don Elmy, who does the show Fear Fans on Tuesday nights, he was among one of the camera operators that was there. And one of the first one of the first groups that we went upstairs with, we started filming. They were doing, their ghost box session. And normally this, like when you see video evidence, usually it happens after you've captured, like you don't usually see or hear anything. But for me, this actually happened while we were filming. There was this huge black mass that just literally came out from like the ceiling area and blocked like the two investigators' face. Now, I was moving a few times, like kind of checking around, making sure there was not like we were causing the shadow or anything. And I know some people would probably ask, well, why didn't you move the camera up briefly? I actually did for a brief second, just to kind of point where the shadow was coming from. And although we were near windows, even when I was trying to move a little bit, just seeing, could one of us be doing this? And this black mass, it just kept staying. But what was even stranger was Don, on the other hand, he didn't. I mean, while I had it filming, he was not getting on his camera. It was occurring on mine, but not his. And if you listen very carefully to the footage, you could hear me whispering, Don, it's like, Don, do you hear? Are you getting this? There's something like Larry right in front of us. And this mass, it was there for about a minute before it went back up into the ceiling. And just when I thought, and I thought that was really weird, but then it gets stranger then. The mass actually comes back down. Larry stays on that same position it was at. And unlike the first time, it shoots right back up to the ceiling before it's completely gone. So as far as evidence goes, like the most conclusive, I would definitely put that in the top 3.
Wow. Well, Brad says we physically got attacked, so that's the most conclusive for us. At Whispers and getting called out for my broken foot on a spirit box.
Yeah, he broke his foot once.
Oh, okay. Now, I would have to say that the one thing that has happened to me, it was at when I met you guys and we did the investigation there in at the
Masonic Temple in Kansas.
Masonic Temple. And when Adrienne and I got back to the hotel and we went to sleep, when I was asleep, I kept hearing somebody whispering my name. And then they stopped whispering and it got to kind of a shout, And I woke up and I looked around and I didn't see anything. And I'm like going, okay, well, whatever, fell back asleep. A little while later, I had something that, and I'm going to explain why I don't count this yet, but I felt my arm get tugged away, okay, and scream my name. But see, I don't know if that was just my head saying, being ultra suggestive, or if something was actually happening to me, because I've never experienced anything like that before. I mean, I'm in a house right now where we have family history, okay? We have our and I love to go and talk to my ghosts. And when I go to talk to my ghosts, I go to talk to my family, and I know I still feel them in my heart. So they're always there. And I always feel their presence and stuff like that. So, it's not that I don't disbelieve in the whole field, but I just don't know if I understand it or not. And could that have been just my mind was so suggestive that night, or did I actually have an experience? I don't know.
Honestly, it could be a combination of the two. You can be suggestive about it, but at the same time, you might have, because there was, in fact, this was actually one of the older paranormal shows. There was one guy that was interviewed on the show, and he talked about when it comes to certain beliefs in the spirit world and the paranormal, whatnot, and especially between skeptics and believers. He once said that for those that don't believe it, if you stand there, like at a particular location, if you stand there and say, well, I don't believe in you or anything like that, then these entities out there will probably do basically by any means necessary to basically get you to believe in them. It doesn't have to be like an aggressive move. It could be just something like that, or just being, something being thrown, or, even just certain poltergeist activity that it's like a signal saying, you you don't believe us? Well, this is what happens to us after we're gone.
That's actually kind of funny, Nick, because I was actually thinking about that, and I consider myself a pretty brave guy, but there ain't no way in hell I'm going to go into a place and say, you're full of it. You don't exist. Yada, yada. No, I'm not, I'm not that dumb. I mean,
right.
So, I'm trying to reach out to Adrienne and finding out what what's going on right now. As I mentioned before, there is a, just watch out for the ghost cats.
The ghost cats.
Well, I know, Brad, I got a giant ghost dog. So, I mean, he, and he's always hanging out, but, it looks like they are having a little bit of trouble getting stuff going, but we're going to try to get this going anyway. We're really hoping that we're able to show you guys a little bit of it, and share. Once again, my name is Zach Clayton, and I've got Nick on with me. We are waiting for my wife, Adrienne, to join us for part of an investigation at the Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado. We're hoping that this happens. Live computer / TV / whatever the hell this is, I mean, so if it can go wrong, whatever. So, not like we've got anything better to do on a Saturday night, right?
Yeah. Try not to cheer. She gets scared and screams, Zach.
Brad, I'll be honest with you. I would probably make that my ringtone if that happens. So I will probably try to find a way to make that my ringtone if that happens. Yeah, but so, and of course, now that I've said that, you guys may never see me again. So as soon as she gets home, but what? Let me. I ask Adrienne. I ask Adrienne this question all the time, and now I'd like to ask you guys this, everybody here. Some of the shows that are out there.
Hey, Lauren.
How much disservice do they do to the field? So like I don't want to say any particular show. We all know the one show that most people talk about. But the TV shows that are out there, how much do some of those shows really, how much disservice do they do to the field?
Well, you see, the shows have really changed over really just the last couple years. I mean, if you look at a lot of especially a lot of the older shows, there's actually a YouTube channel now that's been uploading a lot of these old shows, which, in my opinion, I think they're far more legit than what we really have today. Now, that's not to say some of the newer shows aren't as good, or see, with Broad. That's the new Brad. Excuse me.
It's getting late in your area, man.
It's 9:30 over. It's been a long day. But I think in some way, with some of the newer shows, I think they really, in some way, they definitely have played kind of a good role for the paranormal field, but there's others out there. And this is something that of course, I know any of these shows, we're not really the first to really say this, but there's also other ones out there I think are just, I guess you could just say, too desperate for evidence. Like they just want to get, it's really became almost like a contest nowadays with some of these shows. And a lot of the gear that they have there, and you got to see what Brad just said, a lot of the flashy gear. I mean, it is true. Like when I was growing up with this stuff, I saw a lot of it. Certainly wasn't as common as it is today, but that was the stuff I was taught about, and that's when I eventually got some of that equipment. But now, like in this case, with what Brad's been making, I've now came to the realization that I don't have to be spending hundreds or thousands of dollars to get that type of equipment, because you can get something very similar like that at a cheaper price. And even then, you could still get, collect certain types of evidence. So, but yeah, going back to the shows, I think it just really depends on, which one you're looking at. Some of them do seem to do a really good job when it comes to the field, but there's others out there who just want to get some type of evidence. And unfortunately, and I know this is something that, again, we're all too familiar with, there's always people out there who say that when they investigate a location, it's always haunted by something demonic.
I like this. Yeah. So, yeah, well, that is kind of funny, because to me, not understanding what all this technology is, I'm into, like, well, I'm a huge hockey fan, and I see a piece of, I see a stick that probably not worth, $13 that they're selling for $325. And my son's a goaltender. Okay. My middle son is a goaltender. And you want to talk about, I mean, it's like, oh my God, they're pads. How in the hell can they cost thousands of dollars?
I know.
It's like they're pads, they rip. They're not, you're not replacing his leg. Okay, so Ed and Lorraine, they are the godfathers, the godparents, correct?
Yes.
And they did everything without all this fancy stuff, right?
For the most part, yes. I mean, even though a lot of their investigations weren't filmed, because of course we didn't have such shows like that in those days, obviously, except for photographs that were taken. I mean, there were a few that were filmed, but for the most part, they really weren't. But it was really just them. They never. I mean, maybe a camera, or even a recorder. Maybe one of those two things. But they never brought in any of that other type of fancy equipment.
Well, Nick, and this is going to go back to one of your shows, and it was the one at the Amityville house.
Yes.
When they did the seance there, I watched that.
Right.
And that was really one of the only times that I've ever seen them do, filmed something on film other than explaining it afterwards. You always saw either Ed or Lorraine after the fact, but you didn't see them in front of the camera very often during.
Yeah, like in progress.
Right. And by the way, the little boy that picture of that little boy,
that famous one, yeah,
still almost makes me pee my pants every time I think of it, because that's damn freaky.
I know some people have said too, it's probably just fake, or what. Honestly, in my opinion, whether it's a real photo or it's been debunked, it's still a creepy photo to look at, especially with the glowing eyes and with this kid. I honestly still believe that it's most likely paranormal. I mean, I've tried debunking it. They said there were no kids in the house that night. So where on earth did this kid come from in the first place?
Yeah. Okay, so Lauren, Brad, and Nick, and whoever else is watching, of course, please chime in. Favorite piece of equipment is?
Oh, man, what's my favorite? I'm gonna have to go with, man. There's so, because I got pretty much just about all the equipment. Brad, we're talking about the famous like Ghost Boy picture from the Amityville horror investigation that Ed and Lorraine Warren conducted. That was taken back in that was trying to think what year that was. That was about a year after the Lutzes moved out. That was taken about 1976 when it was photographed. Okay, so Lauren's saying EMF, Brad saying voice recorder. For me, I think I'm going to have to actually. Mine is actually a couple of different things. I actually like my favorite piece of equipment I would have to give would be a lot of the older equipment, like dowsing rods, crystal, pendulum, of course, in a voice recorder. I mean, there's just when you use a lot of the older equipment, I think you get a lot more out of it than a lot of the modern day equipment.
Okay. What's the piece of equipment that you think is just useless?
One that I think is useless.
I think this one's a jab at you, but
let's see here. Just don't scare yourself with a tape recorder. The tape recorder actually works great investigations. I'm not going to lie. I've been meaning to actually listen to some of the previous audio tapes. So Brad saying useless is SLS. I think the one that's that's a tough one. What is the most useless piece of equipment? Oh, you know what? Okay. I know already. It just came in my head. I would have to say, and believe it or not, it's from your phones, is the Ghost Radar app.
Yep. Okay. You know, my dad, when we went on one, Dad tried to use a couple an app. I like that. That's not shilling for it or anything, is it? You know, there you go. So here's the second one for the SLS. What is the SLS?
So I've never really learned too much about it. I only learned pretty much from what I've seen from it. It's like Brad might be able to help me out with this by describing it. It's like it's a type of, I guess for lack of a better term, kind of like a camera. It's the type of camera, I guess, that could it detects like stick figures, like when if you're walking in front of it.
Oh God, I hate that thing.
Yeah, I know that.
I hate watching that thing.
Yep. See, Brad just said it's basically an Xbox Kinect sensor that tracks body movements. It's like stick-like figures.
This is my question with that, and Linda, I'm sorry, you're liking the SLS, but and we're sitting here bashing it, but here's my question: how come every time somebody's got an SLS reading or something, they're always dancing? Ghosts always dance. Is that what they're doing? I mean, it's like. So, but it seems to me like and like the ones where it pops up on somebody's shoulder or something, it's okay, well, there's the little evil spirit, so you're right, you are very right, Linda. So, and Brad, just to show it, because I had to go and look it up, which thank God I did that, because now I'm going to have nightmares. There we go.
That's the photo, and they are saying that it could possibly be maybe one of the victims of the murdered DeFeo family, John DeFeo, because it does kind of resemble a little bit like him.
Yeah, it actually really does, doesn't it? If you look at that picture.
Well, and also when you think about it, it is possible that maybe the house is truly haunted, because you do have to remember there was a murder that occurred in that house. It's just probably not exactly like how they display it in the movies or even the book itself. So I truly believe there is some type of haunting revolving around that house, just not how they portray it in the movie or in the movies or book.
Yeah, like I said, that photo though,
hey, Jack.
You brought that photo up on one of your episodes, and that photo kind of freaks me out. That one is so yes, better leave it stationary. Yeah, like I said, that it is just funny to me because I do, and I've got after my motorcycle accident, and I lost the hearing in my right ear. Being around like a lot of noise really kills me. So if I were to go into a place where they're using the radio scanner, whatever that's called, the spirit box,
Oh,
right?
the spirit
Where it
box.
makes
Yeah.
that, yeah, and they do it to where it's very loud. I couldn't do that. I couldn't be in that room. So
Well, if you didn't know this, Carl Albertson actually he made some new type of spirit box where it doesn't have like all those high pitched sounds. I'm actually hoping maybe at some point then that maybe hopefully he'll eventually he'll be able to make more of them and sell them publicly because that looked something really interesting to use. So he's now developed some type of spirit box. I think someone else too might have developed something as well. I don't know if it was Brett or somebody else, but I know there was someone else who was making a better spirit box so you didn't hear all those loud noises. So if Carl ever does, make it a public type of device that he can eventually sell, I mean, as far as a portal box, I don't know if it was called the portal box. It was see if Carl was on again, if Carl was on the chat, he'd be able to tell us. But if he ever does sell it and eventually makes it available for a lot of us in the paranormal field, and if you happen to be on an investigation, I think it would probably be a much better hearing for you, so you don't have to hear those really loud noises to it.
one of the other things that they're trying to do out there is they're trying to take somebody who's got who's differently abled.
Right.
What is your thought on people who are not, I don't want to say different because they're not. They've got difficulty, learning disabilities,
Yes.
or autism or something like that. What are your thoughts on them being more receptive and more open to the paranormal field? Is this true?
So this is actually a question I've been asked before, and I've had different answers for it. So, but that's a really good question though. So I think in some way, as someone myself that has autism, I think we are definitely. I think in some way it's kind of more of like we're kind of more drawn to it. Whether we're interested in the field or not, it's just like not necessarily like a psychic link, as I would put it. I think I would call it more being drawn to it more than anything else. And I definitely think in some way that autism and Asperger's especially probably plays a certain role in it. And also it would probably explain too why I've always had this fascination and knowledge of history for certain events, historic locations. So I definitely do believe autism and Asperger's certainly has some role when it comes to the paranormal field. In fact, I've been looking up lately to try to find more answers of it myself, like asking that same exact question. But I think the more people who have this type of these disabilities, the more receptive they can become to whatever's out there than other people. I mean, the only other thing that comes closest to that is obviously children, because they obviously have more experiences. So I think children pretty much come close to that. But as like for whether you're a kid or an adult, it's very much like it's like being gifted in a way. So I think for me, as someone who's got autism, I pretty much cherish it. It's like a gift. And my fascination with the paranormal field is really very much like a plus, if you will. It's like it feels almost like this was something I was meant to do.
Okay. Lauren had a learning disability, and I'm an intuitive empath. I can sense a spirit is around, and I can sense when somebody's going to pass away. That's got to be that's just got to be difficult. You know,
Yes.
it's that's really got to be difficult. But you know, just that's got to be one of those things that you're going to wish, oh my God, I wish I could turn this off. You know, I don't want to know when, I don't want to sense when people are going to pass,
Right.
I know I sure as hell wouldn't want to know, be around somebody and go, oh my God, look, last time might be some benefits to it, but I don't think I would
Right.
want that responsibility. That's for damn sure. So yeah,
Well,
okay. That's a great point, Linda. That really
yeah.
is that they don't have, and I know that that's also the theory on why children are more open and more acceptable to the spirit world because they've not been told this isn't real. This isn't all BS. This is actual, what you're seeing is what you're seeing. And so it's okay to see this because you're a kid. So yeah, that's a great point. Um yeah, well, I'm glad that you were able to learn how to block it out. I know one thing that I've got, and after I lost my hearing in my right ear, so I've only got the one ear. But I have um
Yeah. and,
yeah,
and
well, guess what, Brad? Mine might be tomorrow when she gets home. So
and then
some of
after
the
that,
dumb
she'll.
stuff I've said tonight, I may be able to meet you there.
Well, and
So
then after that, then Adrian's going to contact Brad's ex, so it'll
yeah,
be a true manhunt.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I know that if Adrian got a hold of one of my exes, I'd just
Brad,
run.
Brad, I just got this advice for Brad, and I did this for someone else. Brad, when Adrian and your ex-wife come find you, all I gotta say is.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah. You're what is it? Your soul better belong to Jesus because your ass belongs to me. So, but yeah, I do have the loss of hearing in my right ear, and with the exception of I've got static in my right ear at all time. Well, you know what they say, when the wife's away, we get to play. So I guess this is one way that she can know I'm not out getting into trouble though. So um but yeah, and I know when we were in the temple, there were a couple times that sound got a lot louder, and the pressure in my head, due to the TBI and all that other stuff, the pressure in my head got a lot more severe.
Right.
And I never thought I would experience that in Kansas because I live in Colorado. I'll do this. I'll definitely do this. No, I won't. Besides that, we're live. She's gonna watch this tomorrow. She's gonna know it's not true. So she's probably gonna listen to it on her way home just to gear up to. Yeah. Yep. So I know that me having that one sense that has been altered, I know that that's something that I wonder if I was yeah, it could be. Very well could be. You know, because it's the static is, it's like, and I know, Nick, you're not near old enough for this, but some of us old people, back at midnight, our TVs used to go off and it just went to static. That's what I
My
hear.
parents told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. My parents told me that. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, Nick is only 10. Yeah. So, but yeah, so I mean, Linda, yeah, that might be a good point. It's like I'm a built-in ghost box. So yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one
Yeah.
here. That, I know I might be the yep, after the national
Yes.
anthem played and we saw the guy and we saw the Indian with the tear rolling down his face. Yep, that's when the static would come out every night. So, but yeah, so I'd actually never, Linda, thought about that might be the whole reason why uh that's one of the reasons why I felt that way, is because it is. I get my own spirit box, but I didn't hear anything that night. But it got much louder, and the pressure in my head was much more intense. So, could it be something? I don't know. But that's the reason why I was asking that. So,
Right.
yeah, the good old days of TV. Yeah. I was a remote control before remote controls happened. So, boy, get up and change the TV. So I want to watch MASH. Oh,
I've watched that show a few times. I remember watching that with my grandfather, actually.
I loved MASH. I
It's a good
still watch
show.
MASH today. Um, again, we're still waiting to hear from Adrienne to see if she's going to be able to go live. We're really hoping she's able to. Um, and let me send her a message here real quick. Uh, what are what is like your favorite case of all time? Like famous one that you've done. Yeah, that's not my favorite case, but yeah, Battle of the Network Stars. There you go. So black and white TV. Yep.
My mom had one of those.
But here you go, guys. Rabbit ears.
Rabbit ears, yeah.
with the foil on them that you had to have one kid put up a leg.
You had to move it around.
Yep. So what's your favorite investigation? The investigation that has always captured your fascination. Either one of yours. Yep, tinfoil on rabbit ears. That's exactly it. Um, uh, Either one of yours or somebody else's. What is the one? Or one paranormal story that just fascinates you to all end?
Honestly, and this is, I mean, I know some people are already in the chat are probably gonna know exactly with what I'm gonna bring up, and that's undoubtedly, I think, my first time when I went to Waverly Hills Sanatorium back in 2010, and that was basically my debut full night investigation at a very young age. I mean, I've done investigations prior before Waverly, but they were, as I would call them, just part-time investigations, just only lasting from anywhere from 20 minutes to maybe an hour or 2 hours at the most. This was my first time ever. I went basically from dusk till dawn. And the way how, it's, I can still remember, even after all these years, that with what I've been what I experienced at a young age, and what I remember seeing from a lot of the paranormal television shows, and movies, of course, I thought a lot of this is really fascinating, and I was starting to really believe in it. But I always kept telling myself that I needed to have like a real, legitimate experience before I could become like a full believer in this stuff. I mean, I still want to keep my skeptical side as well, but I want to experience something. So when we went to Waverly Hills, which, by the way, at that time they had a strict age limit. At that time, you had to be 18 or over to go. They didn't know I was 17 at the time. So even though I was a few months away from turning 18, it still didn't matter. So
I knew there was a little bit of a rebel in you.
Yeah. So we get there, and I think probably within about a half hour after we began the investigation. And here's the cool thing. I do have a lot of this filmed. So what better way to have your first ever full night investigation at only 17 years old, and also to capture most of it on video. Of course, we didn't have Facebook Live at that time, so I was actually using like an old like VHS style video camera. But the cool thing was it did have night vision on it, so that was definitely beneficial for this. And I still remember we went up to the 4th floor, and the guy that was with us, he told me, my dad who's there, Lauren. I've never heard someone call me like that before. I still remember after like when he told us to turn the flashlights off, and as soon as we shut the flashlights off, I like literally within a minute I started seeing movement. Now I first had to think to myself, because there were other investigators there that night, but I realized they were all like right near us, and I'm seeing these shadow figures moving. And you could hear me on tape. You hear this gasp that comes from me. But the funniest thing was, it was not a gasp of like fright or anything like that. It was a gasp of shock, but it was excitement. Like, because it was just like, to me, it was just such an unbelievable experience to see something like this for the first time. Because I really had to think in my young mind at that time, like thinking this, am I really experiencing this? It was like the building and the entities that resided there. It was almost like they knew I wanted to experience something. And for the rest, I mean, I could go all night with if I had to, but the rest of the night was just incredible. I mean, that was, to this day, is still one of my favorite case that I've ever done.
I think that, and I, even before I had reconnected with Adrienne, I'd seen things on Waverly Hills. I'd actually seen it by watching some of my history shows that I love to watch. It was the Abandoned show. But I think the stories that really, and please let us know what your story, your favorite story is while we're waiting. Let's have some fun with this. What is your favorite paranormal either investigation that you did or that you've heard about, read about, whatever it is? I would have to say that my favorite stories are the two, and this is from me being a history fanatic. The two of the prisons that Al Capone was in, Eastern State Penitentiary in Philly, and of course Alcatraz. And Alcatraz, he'd already lost his mind due to syphilis, and he kept screaming, "Jimmy, leave me alone." And while people don't know for sure, the thought is that he was screaming about a guy who he had killed. Jimmy that he had killed at one point in time. So Waverly and Whispers. Brad, where is Whispers? Is that
I think he's referring to Whispers Estate. I believe that's in, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, I think that's somewhere in Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, but those were always, two of the stories that I've always
Indiana.
Mitchell, Indiana. Okay, so
excuse me.
And those were two of the stories that I've always loved. I love the whole Al Capone story, his I don't want to call it career. It's not like it was,
but and he came from
one hell of a resume, I guess. But
he also came from my area because he basically ran Chicago throughout the 1920s.
Yep. Right. He had moved there with his boss Johnny Torrio from New York. And he had left New York because, well, they had gotten themselves into a bit of a pickle. So
in a way, yes. And we've actually had someone else say it, because I remember I was on a show talking about Al Capone, but the way how he ran things prior to his imprisonments. I mean, his imprisonment, and before also the St. Valentine's Day massacre of 1929, he literally had so much control of everything. He even had some control and law. As I would put it, he probably had more control over the city of Chicago than the mayor at that time did.
Oh, absolutely. There's the story of when he just took and one of the I believe it was the police chief.
Yeah.
Or it was either the police chief or the mayor. He just took and just stomped the hell out of him right there in City Hall.
Yep.
Right in front of everybody. So yeah. And to be honest with you, he wasn't bothering anybody. It was the St. Valentine's Day massacre that made him a bad guy. He could have been tolerated by everybody until that happened, and then it just became too dangerous. So yeah, we got Brad's vote, which is Waverly and Whispers. Like I said, I think Waverly, that tunnel that they've got, the death tunnel, that is so interesting.
I actually, if you don't mind me sharing, I actually have a picture. This is an actual photo of 17-year-old me in the death tunnel.
Wow. that is yeah. God, Nick, I didn't think you could look any younger.
and you can see I'm holding the old-fashioned video camera too. So it is, when you go in that tunnel, I mean, you have to remember, it looks bright in the tunnel, right?
Right.
That brightness, that's only coming from a camera flash. We had no flashlights on. I mean, we did have flashlights with us, but we took a picture of me. I mean, because when you're down that tunnel, if you have no lights, it is so dark and black that it's not like when you just go to a simple room, you turn the lights off and it's dark. It's a different type of darkness when you're there. So that flash, we took that when no flashlights were on. So once that flash was taken, it was pitch black in that place.
How heavy is it in there? How heavy is the feeling?
The feeling, it's actually pretty it's pretty heavy in there. I mean, I could sure understand why they made this tunnel. Of course, I know it's also known as the body chute. I could sure understand why they made this tunnel, so that way they wouldn't have living patients see the dead go by.
Wow.
But just the fact that, and I know it's recently been discovered that apparently they've said for many years that supposedly 63,000 people died at Waverly, but now that's recently been discovered that that's not fully true after all. There were, in fact, a couple thousand deaths, but not as high as they originally put it. So, which I'm now going back to trying to get the history corrected for that. So, and yes, the tunnel was also originally meant to be bringing supplies as well. So it wasn't just for those who passed away. But regardless of however many people died and however many bodies went through, which still were a couple good hundreds of them, just knowing these bodies were passed down, it definitely makes you kind of I guess it depends exactly where you're in the tunnel. The feeling definitely, I think it gets a lot more heavier as you go deeper and deeper into the tunnel.
Yeah. Lauren brought up Alcatraz, and I think Alcatraz is another place that, Alcatraz is a place that has such an interesting story because, people think Alcatraz was there. It's a prison. It's not what it was originally.
No, it wasn't.
And it's Civil War. It was, it was a jail. Yeah. But there was more than just a jail, Alcatraz was around for a long, long, long time. And I love hearing the stories of the families that lived on the rock, of the guards, there were families that were living on that rock. They felt so comfortable, so safe there. And that they had that they had, families on there.
Well, not only that, but also in addition to before, because like the Civil War stuff that you brought up, that was what was originally known as the Citadel that existed, and even before the Citadel was ever built, that area too, from what I heard, was also originally owned by a few Native Americans that actually lived on the island itself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is. It's. I really do. I think that. I mean, and we, like I said, we really have talked a couple times about. Hopefully, my my company teaming with you guys on things and trying to help. Trying to save some of these wonderful sites. Because that's what my company does. We try to help people raise money for different things, and I would love to save some of these sites because I think we're losing way too much history, and
Definitely.
these stories are just, it's a damn shame that that we would lose any of them. So, and just to let you guys know, we may be getting close to something happening here. We did just receive this wonderful picture. I guess it's not that. I don't want to see that picture.
That sounds like something else.
So, yeah. But so here's one of the pictures of the inside. This, I believe, was in the basement. So she said, yes, they're leaving the basement and then they're going to try to come on. So we might be getting close here. So I guess that's not really showing a whole lot, but, who knows? So once again, just to let everybody know, we are waiting for Adrienne Clayton to join us live. They are in Canyon City. And she's going to try here real quick. She's going to try real quick to see if she can get signed in. And if it doesn't work, she'll start up again when she goes up. So she's going to try to join us here real quick. But they're going to be coming to us, hopefully, live from the Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado. It was established in 1886 by two monks who were sent from Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So, and I love the way that they put in there that this is back when the when the West was wild still and all that other stuff. Well, yeah. So, so this does have a lot of.
Yeah. I was laughing. That's what I was laughing at.
I just saw it. Yep. We are. So, yeah, I'm hoping that she can fill us in with more of the stories because really there's not a whole lot of anything going on. So,
oh, here we go.
Okay, so they come down and they get to the top of the stairs. So they're following the sound. They get a little closer into the kitchen area. And it brings them into this doorway, and they're standing there at the doorway, and they hear. They look over there in the corner, and they can see this phone sitting on top of the box, and there was a light lighting on it. So Patty Joe goes over and she gets over right here. I'm going to find out who it is. So she gets ready to pick up the phone. It's about right here. And in the box, all in the corner there. She realizes the end of that phone cord is hanging outside the box. oh shit, she says, I think this is a job for maintenance, and then skedaddle out of here. So you'll hear the phone ringing, and there's no.
Yeah, just to let everybody know, that's who
Imagine if
Adrienne went
in
with.
the U-shape, this is where the system was, I mean, it's set the slate down. There's no necessarily here. Now, when we get about here, and we have this big heavy chair, we picked up, and you and I showed up, how much you picked up? 400. I said, at least 25 per. If not more. Anybody who wants to pick it up, can. So we were taking they're doing an investigation. They shot a movie here last year, where Angel Spear is sitting on Netflix. And they were filming for about a month and a half. And one of their actors, the main actor, got sick on Friday night, so they couldn't shoot all weekend. Well, let's do a ghost hunt. Well, let's. So we're down here doing an investigation. I'm down about halfway down the potato cellar. Sean Crochet, he's my sidekick. If you watched Portals to Hell with Jack Osborne, he was the psychic medium for Jack Osborne on that show. But he had a crew, and there was 4 of them going in that door. And this chair was sitting over there. It ended up in the middle of the room. They turned around and looked, and they're all the way down by the door. I'm down the hallway. I thought it was them. They thought it was me. How that chair got picked up in this wall and slammed down on the floor is beyond us. That's some serious energy there. Yeah. And then if you look at the arms of the chair, moving along.
Did you hear that?
Look at the other side. And then look at the side of it.
That's like the 3rd time there's been footsteps behind us. This should be an interesting night.
That chair has a story, but we don't have a clue what it is. Now, one other interesting thing down here is, and I thought it was bullshit. I didn't even sit there and sit no way. But 3 of the alumni confirmed it because they actually had one of the nuns pass away, and it happens to them. You gotta remember, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, weather patterns were a whole lot different back in those days because we didn't have all the man-made reservoirs that we do, like Pueblo Reservoir and things like that, soaking up all that moisture in the air, changing the weather pattern. So we had permafrost that went 3 feet deep, and trying to dig in permafrost is like trying to break concrete. So if you were unfortunate enough to, you had to wait till spring before they could bury it. So they would go ahead and embalm your body. But where are they going to keep you, right? Right over here. Oh, wow.
Oh boy.
Nice. So they put you on a slab, and there's a rod on the top there. It held the slides, and they would slide you back into that room. Now step in there, you could smell it. You could still smell the formaldehyde.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a mothballing type smell, but it's formaldehyde.
You gotta step into it as well.
Like,
He's like, no, I'm going to take pictures. I ain't smelling. Oh, we
if you watch,
got to get the full experience.
All right, I'll put you in there and close the door.
That's okay. I'll be dead soon anyway. That's a nasty smell. That's a really nasty smell. To me, it smells like, well, I mean, I've never smelled formaldehyde, but that's nasty.
Yeah.
It smells like rotten alcohol.
Yeah. Well, can you imagine sitting here in your videos and knowing that Sister Mary is laying in state,
Ugh.
15 feet from it? But it was all for them. So, straight ahead is the take a cellar. This is what everybody thinks.
Oh, look at that door.
Really, and I don't have the cars down here.
Okay, why is this chair just creepy sitting here? And is that a headstone? The heck? All right, so moving on. Kevin, why is there a headstone in the basement? Bunk beds?
Kind of like the old basement doors, that's where this, yeah. So they would bring in all the root vegetables into this door. Potatoes, lettuce, carrots, whatever. That way they didn't have to track through the building to take them into the kitchen and stuff. And then.
I did.
Yeah.
This is,
Whoa.
I'll show you, I'll add some clips or maybe when you guys are ready to take a break, I'll show you how I scared the hell out of those actors. Because I'll come down here in pitch dark.
Yeah.
There's just enough ambient light that I'm used to. As long as I can see where the light's coming in, I can point a straight line and just follow that without any light. So I came back here, I'm hiding in the coffin. I had a monk head standing over there, mannequin off in that corner. I had a blue light on in this room here, turned the blue light on so that when they came through those double doors there, their focus would be wondering what the hell's in that room back there. And they totally miss it. There's a monk standing behind them. So they get halfway in here and then they would realize that the monk's behind them. So it worked perfect. I scared the hell out of them there. But in the meantime, I crawled into the coffin and brought down the lid. So when they jumped and ran away from the monk standing there at the doorway, and I popped them from the coffin, I said, what are you guys screaming about? And again.
Which one of you ladies is laying on the bed tonight?
And you know, even though that's one of the props for the house, because they do a portion of it down here in the basement every year, and then the rest is over at Hawthorne Hall. Even though that's a prop, it is a real hospital bed, so you know, you can only guess how many people actually died on that mattress, you know. So
Did we draw straws?
this is the room everybody says that was
That's why when I was looking at it.
So if you look at, you know, everybody says that they sealed off the tunnel. In reality, in the daytime, if we were here in the daytime, you would look in the top corners on both sides, and there's light coming through. Those are the stairs going up to the breezeway up here. This was never a tunnel. Never a tunnel.
It smells funny in this one.
Hey, I showered.
It smells like dirt, I guess.
Okay, who had the Rosarita and fries?
This one. We're actually getting really good reception down here.
And Mimi just gets all left out way behind.
The back is where you don't want to be. Yeah.
So do your name or things?
Things. Yeah, I think, yeah, it's under things. Zach and Nick are hosting it.
Show you this time we'll go down to the main hallway. And then we're pretty much, I'm sorry, then we're pretty much
Zach,
done.
Nick, share it to my page, please, so that we can share it out.
We will do.
Thank
Oh,
you. Love you.
Nick will do. He's smarter than I
Why
am.
your hand?
I actually did share it on my page. I'll share wherever else it needs to go.
Coffin?
I'm trying to see if I have any like web stuff. It felt like-
Spider webs?
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Who's your best friend?
Well, I wish he would stay in the chapel because he's a little freaky.
He touched my hand and we're gonna put my
Yeah, we'll deal with him in the chapel shortly.
I think he's trying to make those downstairs so he's,
Yeah, he probably wants you back there where you can't even tell he's being touched.
yeah.
So guys, as soon as we get done with the tour, I'll turn it where you guys can, I can hear you guys right now. I can't, so I can let y'all hear the history.
So when the building was built, they picked up this refrigerator. Very large. It was used when they got half of the deal, and went ahead and dropped it in here, and then built the building around it. And it worked from all through the 30s, 40s, and then about midway through the 40s, it quit working. The compressor went out. By that time, it was so old that they couldn't even get parts for it. They didn't really need it any longer because they had the main meat locker built by then. So it just sat and it sat and it sat. Long about 1970, two monks come in here and said, wow, we could do something with this. Something amazing. So they put their heads together, open up the doors to either one, either side of this refrigerator, and see what they do. Yeah. Side by side saunas.
Their saunas?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
They still work. They actually have the heaters put away and the locks for the door, they took them off because one of our
See if I
guest
can-
groups in here, whose name I won't say, everybody probably knows it anyways, but they were locking people in here and people that are claustrophobic were not.
Not that much.
Little step here. Come on there. This is the room with the chair.
I don't like this.
There's an animal in the chair.
So after Charlie was here, the maintenance guy, he used to come down here and he would stack miscellaneous furniture and stuff down in this room. One of which happened to be this chair. He had several other items, and from week to week, he'd bring different items in or take items out. And every time he would come down, he'd always find a chair sitting in the corner like this. And that's odd, so he put it back wherever he had it stacked at and whatnot. And a couple of weeks would go by and come back down, and then the chair would be back in the corner. So he said, somebody screwed me. So he went up and he asked Patty and Patty Joe, hey, you down there in my junk room down there moving stuff around? Oh, hell no, we don't go down there unless we have something. We have to have repairs, and we get the heck out of there. We're not gonna hang around and move your junk down into your junk. They says, well, somebody screwed with me, I don't know who. But, so what he did was take, if you look here, there's duct tape on the floor. This is what Charlie put down. This is the actual chair. So he marks the 4 legs where they sit on the interior perimeter of that square. So he set that chair in there. Then what he did, if you look around the edges of this entire room, you see the white powder. He took baby powder, slid it all the way up to the doorway there.
Oh, wow.
Then he put a hasp and a lock on that door. You can still see it today. Put a padlock on it, and then he left for vacation for a week or 2. Gets back, he looks at the padlocks hanging on the door just like it should be. Nobody's been messing with it. Opens up the padlock, opens up the door, looks down the floor, there's no footprints. Sure enough, he looks at the back of the room and the chair's sitting in the corner over here. So, again, he comes back, he looks at the chair. The chair was not drugged in there because it would have left marks in the baby powder. It was physically set there because there were no drag marks whatsoever. So it's not like somebody even could have opened up that door and pushed it on a stick or something to get it to move.
2013.
Still unexplained. If you look, I've got a camera up there, so I watch it all the time. I've only ever caught it move 6 times, but I always caught who moved it too.
Who drops money around here?
I don't know, there's some pennies.
That's what I saw.
There's some person that started, this was a place for discipline, and they would lock the kids down in here.
Oh, yeah.
It's a terrible place and create all this emotional drama. Did it happen? There's absolutely no records you can find. Could it have happened? Absolutely. You know, you can speculate all you want to. Your guess is as good as mine. But I always share the stuff that I can prove, rather than trying to expound on a theory, which is all that is. What this room was originally, as I said, that's where they would bring in all the root vegetables. So there was 2 sinks here, and there was a sink there and a sink here, and then a drain right there.
Yeah, I found it.
They would bring in the root vegetables and wash them before they stored them on the shelf. So that's what this was. For the vegetables that were bringing in. So whether anybody was punished in here, it could have happened, but there's absolutely no records of it. Simple.
I thought I was hearing like music.
There was footsteps behind us earlier. Jacob and I went to go back and look.
Oh gosh, why did I gotta be off down?
It's like vertigo right here, huh?
I went backwards instead of forwards.
This one you thought shadows moving and stuff.
When did you do that?
What?
When?
It's like November 2021.
Oh, you were here before.
Yeah.
Did you see the creeper?
We did not. But I was in this room and I got
It's gonna be hard to feel touches unless we take our coats off.
Well, like I said, I felt a while ago something grabbed a hold of my hand. There was no web.
So this is about the only part you can get turned around there. So just remember, it makes a big circle, and if you come out that door to the potato cellar, then just come out this way, and right here is the stairs. Okay.
I'm still gonna
Keep going.
One of the ladies, you,
Uh-huh.
open up this door. There's nothing gonna jump at you. I just want you to,
Oh, that's not gonna open.
yeah, you gotta really yank on it, right? Keep yanking. Pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay, this door opens by itself.
Yeah.
If you look there, I have it on the floor. There's a camera right there. I did have it in the ceiling up there, but we're trying to catch the camera at the end of the hall. This goes down to the boiler room. So you can see there's stairs going down. So if somebody was behind this door, they would have to be pushing at this angle here. We tried it last week with the paranormal files and paranormal twins when they were here, opening that door. And in order to open this door with that much force, you have to fall forward. So if somebody was pushing that door, they would have fell forward.
Oh, yeah.
And we would have caught them on the camera, which was not the case. And then if you look, it drags on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So the only way you can get this door to close is you got to pick it up. And then it's going to shut. Okay, so somebody else want to try it?
Yeah. Somebody else do it so we can get it.
So, and then obviously, this is vented. So it's not like you go into your front door to get your pizza. You open up your front door and your bedroom door comes swinging open or slam shut because of the vacuum it created. This is vented. There's no way vacuum can build up behind that door. A tornado could come through here. It's not going to blow this door open. So one of my people, because it happened 2 days from last year's mayhem event, came up with the idea, let's hang a dryer sheet on there. And then we can see which way the air is blowing and how heavy and hard it is. Sometimes it's being sucked out. Sometimes it's just flapping because there's so much air coming in here. But I'm able to watch it through the camera and see what's happening. That's never been the case of this door opening because of airflow. Again, you say, well,
You just pick it up.
so it stops right there. So if you pick it up, there's a place about right there that you've got. It's dragging, but it's not right about there. It opens pretty easy. But in the video that I'll show you whenever you guys got time, stop by the office there, you'll see this thing come up and it opens like this. About that far. The first time I caught it, there was a group of investigators here. Never investigated here. What's that?
It's just so just
They were investigating. They rented the building for the night. They came in around 10:30, 11 o'clock and said, hey, that door that down there that's got the magic marker exit or whatever down in the basement, does it come open by itself? Well, I don't know. And at that time, that camera was hanging from the ceiling this way, so I didn't even catch the door. So they said, well, it's happened a couple of times. Oh, well, okay, I'll take your word for it. So they're in about 1:30 in the morning investigating. They're in that room there, and that room, if you look in there, there's a doorway that goes in, and it actually enters this room next to it. That was the laundry room. See, they had a bunch of dryers and washers stacked up in there. So that was the laundry room. They were in there, and all of a sudden, this door came popping open. They said they heard a big loud growl. They saw in the silhouette two apparitions forming in front of the two doorways, like it was blocking their way out. They freaked out. The girls ran straight through, ran down the corridor, straight out of the building, got in the car, and waited for the guys. The guys came upstairs and they said, I know we had this place all night long. It's like 1:30, right? I know we had this place all night long, but we're freaked out. We're calling it. And he says, would you mind going down and picking up our cameras? We've got a couple of cameras down there, but we don't want to go down.
Oh, wow.
Oh, jeez.
Say no.
Like I scored some cameras. So I came, picked up their equipment and sent them on their merry way. So the very next, that was on a Friday night. Very next night, I set the camera. Yeah, it was this tile here. And so I caught just the edges of the door, but sure enough, the door popped open and it came about that. the very next night. I said, okay. 2 weeks go by, the door stays shut, nothing happens. And then two days before my mayhem event, when I had all my investigators coming in from all over the United States, that's when the door opened, fully open. It was during the daytime then, and I had my camera all the way back against the top there, so it caught the whole doorway here. Everybody came here. These are seasoned investigators. These are our lead investigators for the team throughout the United States. We all stood down here for over an hour trying to figure out how this door could open, and none of us have a reasonable explanation as to how that door opens. So that could happen. Again, the camera down here, we have the crawler at the end of the hall. For some reason, like the Native American Museum that was down here. Back in the day, after it was desanctified, that company that bought it from the original owners had this. They were renting out space to anybody that could pay rent. So for those 2 years, it was a Native American museum right there where you're at. You enter there, and then it goes through all the way to the end. You can see the little.
Did you hear that? Anybody else hear the growl?
Yeah, was it growl?
That's the growl.
Oh, he's in here.
You heard a growl?
Yeah, he's in here.
Sweet.
Came from back here.
Yep, sure did. Oh, there's a drum.
Yeah, it sounds
Native
like a
American
vibration.
drum.
Well, that's the thing. If you look at the walls here, see all those pegs? That's where they kept the antique rifles and stuff. And then over here is a display case where they kept the knives and pistols and stuff like that. And these are drums. They're gonna end up, we're making a museum upstairs. This is part of the stuff we'll be moving upstairs during my work.
Drag that chair. Let's see if maybe.
It sounded like a. You said
Yeah.
growl to
Yeah, I
this
thought it
side.
was like a growl to me.
Anybody have a recorder?
Yeah, we're live. We're live.
Okay, good.
Let me see if I can turn this up where I can hear them.
And this is the only.
Yeah, and
of
Adrienne,
course
just
it's
to
not
let you
going to.
know, I've got it marked at 136 of our recording.
All right, Zach, Nick, did either one of y'all hear it?
I've got it marked at the 136 mark, so we can look at it again.
I can't check chat because if I do, it's going to take everything off of here and I won't be able to see what I'm filming.
Twitch channel.
Okay.
And all you gotta do to sign up on Twitch is put in a username and a password. That's all you need. And look for What's Up Grants, Twitch/What's Up Grants.
Okay. Y'all heard that, right? What nothing wants to work here today. For some reason, nothing wants to work.
So these would have been display cases. I assume it might have had any. So they probably had some mannequins in the back there.
I can't get the sound on my phone. Kind of like the headlights not working on the car. I don't know why this.
Go inside of. Oh, yeah,
I won't.
on the bottom right there. Wait, no. Where's those?
Yeah, I don't know. See, look, I can do this and it won't do nothing.
It won't pull the whole entire, know your list. Oh, no.
Nope, won't do nothing. I'll have to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to remember that room.
Yeah. Let me skip them all around.
So we're at 7 in the electrical room. This is where I came out.
What was that again? I missed it all. What was that again?
That's just a crawl space when you jacked up the building. That it's a crawl space that was created once they re-leveled the building. So I crawled through it from the electrical room and came out over here. And
Oh, okay.
I videoed the whole time I was down there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I still got to check out some of your stuff. And then watching
Wow.
some of it.
Let's see. Oh, no, no, I'm good.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, that's pretty, tightened up.
Yeah, nope, I'm good. What's this?
American history.
Oh,
This is moral.
whiskey, whoa. Is that a Bible?
Somebody had a little cheat.
That's awful.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's pretty new, so that's not.
Kitty Hawk.
Fourth floor is pretty self-explanatory when you get to Abigail's room. You guys in time. We shut up in cot. In her room, you'll know when you're there because it's got a Raggedy Ann on the Raggedy Ann sitting in the chair. And there's candy and toys. Toys. I also interact with them playing hide. They really like to work, and then that'll go on. My Twitch streamers through my microphone stuff, I'm old, so I have to use it to hear. But as I'm doing my sessions and having the voices come, you can hear children laughing and they get closer. I've got a motion light, cat ball, and at this end of the hallway, I've got the motion. I say, well, you come closer if you want to what I'm doing. And you hear them laughing and giggling, and all of a sudden the motion comes off. So a few minutes pass by, and I say, come on, get a little closer. You don't have to stand way back. You know this won't hurt you. And you see the cat ball light up. And I said, well, okay, everybody's thinking that that's just a coincidence. So what I need to do is have one of you run over to the other end of the hallway and make one of those lights go off. Both the motion light go off at this end of the hallway almost immediately.
Nice.
And then you hear the kids laugh. You hear them talking, but you can't, it's non-verbal. You can't make out what they're saying. You just hear them. Yeah. But it was all live and captured on the screen and everything else. So the fourth floor is definitely amazing. There's never been anything that really anybody has to be afraid of on the fourth floor. There's people that will come here that have been investigated before and go straight to the fourth floor. They don't care about anything else on the campus or the rest of the building. They focus on the fourth floor. It's just their favorite store. This is creepy. Gus, come over here like you're Peter. Hey, how's it going?
Y'all talking to each other. Let me get out of here.
So I don't know if that was a lesson on humility or what. Yeah. And these are the only place I've seen urinals like that anywhere. And it's on all 4 floors.
Nope.
We'll see what I got.
Nope. Well, that's okay. They weren't supposed to use them anyway.
Whoa.
What the heck?
Always running people. Some of these candies to live.
The ramps are on the north end of the building, the stairs are on the south end. And that's how you can get your bearings.
Just for now, okay.
All right, so this is where I didn't think it would take, so this is what you missed.
This is the living room here.
So is this all like the living area, or
Do what?
is this like the living area?
Yeah, this is where the high priest or whatever used to live.
Oh,
And then, yeah. We'll go down there in just a minute.
Are we just, right now, okay. We can do the, you wanna do the basement and all that?
Or they
Okay.
agree to it.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Did you hear that, Greg?
It's early. You're not getting and you start picking up stuff. Now, I don't know who is that? Generally, I asked things you probably, I shouldn't have. Let you in.
Well, I kind of was trying to hang back. I was seeing things and kind of feeling things, but
Yeah.
usually I don't like to do the tours, but all good. I didn't
It's
do
kind of
the
like a
tours.
spoiler alert, and a lot of the mediums choose not to take the tour
Yeah.
because they don't want any preconceived
Yeah.
ideas. And
Yeah, I normally do like to hang back and stuff, but it's one of those things.
okay.
I'm good.
One other thing that I want you guys to be aware of, as investigators, you use all your senses. And one of them is very important here, sense of smell. And there's some very specific, you'll know what you're smelling when you smell it. It's not that pretty.
Or the formaldehyde?
Or the formaldehyde, right? Yeah, there's a variety of different smells that you can pick up. And as crazy as some of them will sound, look normal and then let me know. Because they're related to specific building, you know, where the reflection was built. And we had so much trouble in December that the housekeeping would not go into the chapel.
I can see, that chapel is creepy.
So we came in, we did a cleansing, we had we had holy water, we had frankincense and myrrh, we had sage, we had gelatin through saying the Lord's Prayer, and putting it aside and across holy water on every single window, door, from the fourth floor all the way to the basement. Over 6 hours, and nonstop. To try and cleanse the building. We got rid of just about everything, and then one of the guys had to go to the bathroom. So he came up the stairs, didn't tell anybody. Sean and I were we were at the back door to chase him up that back door and finally sealed him off. And the thing took about the stairs up. So it was still in the building. As funky as that sounds, the following weekend, we did that on Saturday. The following Saturday, the bookkeeper was here in the office right there behind me. She came in and finished the meeting of the month. She was working on was Antichrist lyrics. And she had to finish, she called me up. You come over here, I've got some really strange things going on. Again, this was right after we did the cleansing, and I don't think that what she was dealing with, because I came back stage, did the Lord's Prayer, and did the Holy One. And we got it quieted down, but I don't think it was anything demonic or anything evil. I think it was probably one of the monks saying, hey, we just got rid of this mess, and here you are inviting them in with this music. And knock that crap off. To this, yeah, she says, I don't even play radio anymore. I'm taking hand chances. So, but we did the cleansing, still some things in that chapel area, and we believe that the two are related. Now, I think the chapel has actually been taken over by one of the abbots, because I got a very clear message from one of the abbots about 2 weeks ago. And I think he's taken over the chapel again. But we do have the crawler downstairs still. Crawler's not a nice guy. So 2 people, that boiler room where the door sticks, you can go down there if you want. You know, you're welcome to go down there. I have camera down there too. I can even hear you scream because I got it quiet for sound. The last 2 people that were down there got scratched while they were doing their investigation. So you're welcome to go down there if you want to. I've sat down there a couple of nights ago. I streamed down there for almost 3 hours. So they don't pick on me because I don't have fear. And they know that. So they pretty much leave me alone. They'll pick on you if you're with me. They'll pick on you if you're with me. If you allow them fear. Once you start showing fear, you're going to lose the game. So just maintain till you can get the hell out of there and then scream when you get outside.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right, let's go.
I've been seeing this stuff since I was 5 years old.
And I can't guarantee that you'll be off the charge.
No.
But I can almost guarantee that every single one of you will at least have a personal experience of some sort that you can.
Let's do this.
Just doing this right here, I love it. I mean, shoot, it's a beautiful place.
So I'm heading up to the offices.
Look at that.
I'm gonna go ahead and get my stream going.
Let's do it.
And it's What's Up Gramps on Twitch.
Yeah, we gotta
All right.
get our stuff. So.
Yeah.
Ready to roll.
Start some coffee.
Coffee is not a bad idea. Huh?
Some things, seen some things. That was hold my hand.
Yeah.
Felt it from it. Yeah. And even the crawler, it's a really scary type thing.
Okay. All right, so where'd Zach go?
He said he was going to be right back.
Yeah, I know his right back too.
He just said that he'll be back.
It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm sure he's exhausted. He'll be all right. All right, so let's see what we're gonna take here. I am not taking the whole bag all over the dang. No.
just don't remember the.
Okay, so we got the cop cam. We got the camera. All right, let's do that. We definitely want
You know how you can do it? It's one of those.
the lights.
Just use the one. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, can I do like, a one?
all right.
You need way more. Oh my God. All right.
I'm glad you want to grind it.
I'll tell you what we need is one of those stupid battery packs for this phone because it's going to be dead in probably 30 minutes.
And I forgot the battery pack over at the.
We can still get it.
Jeremy was looking for you, Zach, and so was Adrienne.
Ah,
Here, I'll turn it around for a minute, huh? What?
wait, is that pudding on that desk?
Let me see if I can. No. I was trying to turn it around. I ain't even gonna try. Whatever. What?
Was that pudding on the desk?
What the hell do you see pudding, dude? That's food, but it's
No,
not
no, on
pudding.
the other end.
A music box?
Oh, okay. Well, you know,
My cop cam?
eh. I'm a fat guy. I see
Gentlemen,
pudding everywhere.
you need to. Have a snack. Chill out. All right, yeah, I don't know how long this phone's gonna last, Zach.
That's fine.
We are gonna go down, where we heard the growl. Did you guys hear it on mine?
Yeah, actually, we didn't hear it, but I've got it marked.
Okay.
It's at the 136 mark of our recording, so we can go back and listen to it.
Damn, you're good.
Right? It's almost like I've been beat enough to where I'm listening.
You're almost an investigator type dude
Almost.
from a distance. Huh? That one? Yep. I don't even know if the battery here.
Yes,
Try it. I don't know
Jeremy,
if the batteries are working on it right now.
Yeah, Jeremy, it's the 1 hour 36 minute mark.
Did y'all hear or see anything else while we were filming?
No, not yet.
That I saw. Yeah, I've been keeping my eye and ear out for anything.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have our little headlights. Well, it won't be on my head, but anyway. Okay, the cop cam, we can put it at the end of a hallway or something and just leave it going. Huh? Sure. That's what it's there for. And then we have this, but it wants to go nuts when, I'll turn it on just when we're down there with it. The mail round, it wants to act silly. I broke the antenna on the top of it. And so like it has to stay partially down. It's a pain in the butt. Do you want us to run and get the battery pack? Let's go find out. We'll go find out. What? What'd you do? What is it? Oh, yeah, that's hot. All right. Well, we're doing this. Do you want to carry this? And we're going to go to the basement. Yeah, I'm going to wait for you. I'm just going to step out the door and bake a minute. Do you want to come bake? Come on. Just right out the front door to bake. Okay. Okay, so this, let's find how to turn it on. This is something I've never turned on. Yeah, there we go.
Might have stepped that password was.
All right, so we can use that. I want to go in that chapel before this dies. No, we're going outside. But I do want to go to the chapel at some point before it dies.
Hey, Adrienne, Jeremy wants to let you know that he's going to drop off for now, but he'll be joining back in before he heads to bed.
Okay, that's fine. We're going to try here in just a little bit. We're probably going to drop off for a second and run and get the battery pack because I really want to stream live during the chapel. And I want to stream live when we go in the basement
Okay.
because the activity there's crazy. Let's go see what's Mimi doing?
Oh, and Brad would like to know if his ex-wife is with you.
If she growls, she is.
I even wonder if Brad's even still watching.
I'm telling you what, that growl was pretty dang loud. And it was like right behind us. We knew where everybody else was. And we weren't the only ones that heard it. Paul heard it too.
How many people do you have with you?
7. We
And
have
you guys
7.
Are you all sticking together or?
No. 3 of us are going to go down in the basement. And I think 4 are going upstairs. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Man, I wonder if this plays on its own. And I know I will be lost in here. I can already tell you that's going to happen. Turn off. Okay. Do we know the code to this? I have it on my phone, but I don't know it.
So in other words, if the show comes to a drastic end, it's because you can't get back in?
No, we can get back in. I'm telling you what, we've had trouble with everything tonight. Like the car, the headlights don't work automatic anymore. The electronics don't want to work. I'm telling you, it's nuts.
Linda Morrison would like to tell you that's a beautiful place.
It is. It really is. I'm going to show you down here. There's pictures of the nuns walking down this thing, and it's just a long corridor, like outside. But
wow,
jeez, that is just like holy.
And this
cow.
is where he was saying that. Remember, he was talking about they thought that they had to hold it up, but they didn't.
Yeah.
This is where the potato seller's at, is down in there. Oh, look, there's a window at the end of this. Let's see where it goes.
It's almost like
I think this might be where that potato seller thing is.
It's almost like an endless tunnel almost, just the way how it looks like until you got to the end of it. It just looked like an endless tunnel.
Ooh. Okay.
Ooh. Oh, glad
Yep.
you're enjoying this, Lord.
Oh, this is the chapel, guys. This is the other side of the chapel. See the pillars?
Oh, yeah. Check it out.
This chapel, I'm telling you what, I usually don't get creeped out like that, but this chapel is creepy.
It definitely does. I mean, just the appearance. It's almost the way I could describe it. Almost looks like it's like catacomb-like in a way.
Yeah, yeah. And the history on this place is amazing. And there's one monk that killed himself here.
Yeah, Zach was telling me a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah, they came to get him. They had enough evidence because he was molesting children. And he went and took a hose and put it in his car and died.
Asphyxiated.
Asphyxiated.
That door right there is the chapel, the very end there. And you can see like the columns that we saw.
Hey, can you turn back down that corridor again? Nick, that reminds me of the picture that you showed us.
Oh, the body shoot from Waverly.
Right.
The potty chute.
Yeah, because of how dark it is in that one area.
We've been in the body chute. That's yeah, it's a little like it, I guess. Ooh, it is a little chilly.
You guys locked out?
Well, there's a code and he's putting the code in.
So I was also telling Zach this earlier, Adrienne, that if I knew a week or so that you were going to be doing this investigation, I probably would have done a Nick Files on the episode on this location.
Well, I did keep the history, so I can send you the history, and then if we catch anything, you can put it on there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's go to this chapel.
Yeah, Linda
Like
made a suggestion.
Creepiest place there is. Huh?
Yeah, Linda had made a suggestion that maybe if you get a chance to do it, I'm sorry, Linda, I didn't see this until right now, but she said if you could walk back up and down that corridor, maybe saying a prayer.
Okay. Let me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I think we just lost her.
No, we'll stick with her for a little bit and make sure that hopefully she'll get internet again.
Yeah, I was going to say I would give at least a minute or two.
Yeah,
see if she can
that would just be a darn shame. I'll tell you. I'm interested in seeing this. So once again, this is Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City, Colorado. Okay. Here we go again.
Oh,
Hey,
wait, hang on.
Oh, wait, that's me. I don't want to
Wait,
see
Trying to cut out.
Yeah, there you go, Linda. See what happens when I ask for energy. Yeah.
All right, let's get the recorders. Where do we put them? Okay.
Are your legs tired?
Yeah.
So we went up and down like 3 times.
Okay.
I'll try to break.
Now.
You see me now? I got too much in my hands.
Well, that's why I'm not carrying a whole stinking backpack, because I'm not going to try to find everything in it later. Okay. We have this recorder, and then Sage. Got the camera around my neck. Got all this. I'm gonna take this recorder. 'Cause I have no idea where the other one is. Yes.
Let me see.
Okay. All right, we got it? Yeah. All
See you
right.
guys later.
Oh, yeah. The chapel. I'm gonna try to do an EVP. Probably not very long. Probably go to the basement after that if we're not getting anything.
Okay.
All right.
See you later.
All right. Let's see if we can hold the stream. Okay, we got it.
Oh, we gotta go back.
Yeah, we got to go back up and over. Let's do this. Probably should have put this on my head and been done with it, huh? Okay, you need to quit beeping. Shut up.
Anthony
Okay.
Lewis is bringing up and asking for a prayer again.
Which way should we get up there?
Asking for a prayer for himself?
I'd imagine in the chapel, Anthony.
Sure. The chapel has a Benedictine
Yes.
monk in it.
Yes, in the chapel.
Look here.
Oh wow! Whoa!
Whoa, look at that.
Now I want to show you something. Look at the clock. He set it for this on purpose.
420.
420.
Jeez.
This is where everybody signed their names.
Oh,
It's
yes.
ours.
Awesome. I love it.
What is that high-pitched squeal? It is not me. That was not me. All right,
That radiator looks familiar.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have
All right.
those radiators in our house.
If you see this, no women are allowed.
Oh,
The brakes.
Anthony's asking if that's singing, or that is singing.
Do what?
You should hear singing.
Oh, yeah, they do hear singing. Okay. Here we go. All right, you'll hear the heater vent. What is that beeping? I am not beeping. Oops. Okay, I don't know about this, guys, but oh, wow. Oh. Reverend Cyprian Bradley. Isn't he the one that they took committed suicide? No, it was Chung that committed suicide, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. That Jesus doll was very creepy.
There's more of it.
Brother Matthew back.
Okay, we're gonna put this on.
Let's go to the chapel. Abbey Vaqueros. Look, they had a cowboy rodeo. And these are just some of the old relics.
The rooms.
Hmm.
Oh, whoa, look at this one. Oh, God, that baby.
What is it?
Oh, Linda's in the house. Yeah.
Um, uh,
The
Native
hell is
American.
that?
Native American.
it's an old, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, look at all of them. I gotta take pictures of this when I come back here. Remind me, girl.
An old tractor seat.
I gotta take pictures of all of this. What room is this?
Do we have an Indian Jesus? Is that what's going on there? Yeah, okay, nope.
They were, huh?
Okay, this is what I was trying to show you when it went black earlier. There was
So,
something about I don't do well with.
so Linda Morrison was asking, by the way, was this originally built on native land?
No.
Okay.
Okay, let's see what we can get up here.
I gotta get my cameras going.
Okay, so when we get in here, we're gonna be really quiet, but this, I know we didn't get to show you this, but this is where, like if somebody would die, the nuns or anybody, this is where they would lay in state for 3 days. And people would come in the door we just went in and leave out this. It looks like a butt print.
I know, that's what I was just getting ready to say. There's two, one there.
Okay, so, yeah. And then they would leave in this door, but this place is just creepy. And this is where they said that the Benedictine monk has taken this back over after they did the cleansing. Watch your steps here. Buckle up with Jesus for that ride to heaven's door. When you're buckled up with Jesus, you don't worry anymore. Okay, that's kind of cool. That would be mine.
Oh, okay.
So is what exact? I'm trying to, what from what I'm. So is this a particular room in this abbey, or what exact room is it?
This is the chapel. Well, it's part of the chapel. It's
Oh,
kind of like
part
the
of the chapel?
back part where they
Okay.
would eat and apparently if you can get activity here, but apparently the monk has taken it back over. So,
Yeah, because
and the guy was telling us he was in one of these chairs and somebody grabbed him from right there.
Oh, really? Yeah, because at first glance, when I saw the tables and chairs, I mean, it still kind of looks a little bit like this. I first thought it was some kind of library because it's like a library-like setting almost.
Yeah. So this is where they would eat. And the thing is, you're not supposed to have a chair on the end of a table because that's nobody but God sits at the end of a table.
Okay.
And it used to be said that it would move, but it has not moved from what he said. This is where the Benedictine monks would eat. And This is where they would, it's a pulley system where they get their food up and put it back down.
Almost like that of a break room, if anything.
Look at that bear. The year of the bear. Okay.
Yeah, I think it said 1980 on it.
Yeah.
1980, I think that's when the monks took it. Wine.
Let's see what's back here.
Oh, I think we just lost
Adrienne.
picture disappeared. I think we just lost her again.
So, while we're waiting for her to reconnect, there are quite a few native tribes that were in this area. So, and as Linda had mentioned, yeah, I mean, we're in an area where, hey, all of this was native land at one point in time. So, but yes, there is a very, very heavy native. It is. It's Holy Cross Abbey, but yes, it used to be the Priory of St. Mary, Linda. Okay, and Adrienne's back.
Okay.
Okay, so I found the real chapel here.
Wow.
Wow. It's amazing how great in shape it still is.
I think it's still used to a
I
point.
was gonna say, is it still being used, at least that area is, because it looks like it's all cleaned up. I mean, it looks like a typical type of church like you'd see, all
And
straightened up.
it's not too cleaned up. See,
Oh
got
yeah,
like-
you're right. Still like debris on the ground.
yeah.
Can you turn back around and look up in the balcony area? What?
Wow, that place is huge.
Place is gorgeous.
Look at that.
They talk about a crawler that they see here.
Anthony would like to know if you heard of any fire in the building.
Funny you say that. I'm going to ask that question because I saw a picture here somewhere that looked like either the mountains were behind it, and it was like either smoke, like the top of the Abbey was on fire, or it was just the mountains. I don't know.
I'd move in.
You'd move in.
Yeah.
Adrienne,
what?
Dad says that he would move in.
I don't think you would for long. Doors are slamming, things are growling.
Yeah.
This is not as peaceful as it sounds.
I'm grumpy anyway, so.
Does that lead to a basement? That
Yes,
stairway?
it does. Yep, that's where we were.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Silence.
Science, I thought, didn't it? Science.
There's the phone.
Wow. That's just like an actual phone booth. I mean, not a phone booth, but a phone room.
Yep.
Wow.
There's some of the old pictures.
Linda said.
Wow, that was a
I
beautiful.
swear, this
crowd.
dude, no.
You're not getting a good vibe from that?
No, I do not like that dude. And he was not the one that was
No.
accused of messing with children. trying to see if I can find that picture. See, this is part of the old Abbey. I'm sure.
What about, have you seen a wheelchair?
Any what?
A wheelchair.
No, not yet. That.
Okay, Lauren agrees with you and see, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, she
But,
said that picture you saw was creepy.
That is beautiful.
I like that a lot.
There's 2 gargoyles on this side of the building, and I don't know. Woo, that doesn't look like a nice picture of it.
Whoa, yeah, it almost looks like it's in a lightning storm. Just the zigzags above it.
Ugh, no, ugh.
Did you get anything from touching, like the rocks from the priory?
I did not get anything from touching. It's walking into the rooms, and I'm telling you, that chapel, it should be the most peaceful place here, and it is absolutely not.
Linda Morrison is saying gargoyles for protection.
I sent you guys the pictures of the gargoyle.
Yeah.
It's pretty good pictures.
Here I am wandering halls by myself where I probably should not be.
Okay, so Anthony just also said the energy is very off in this building.
It is off. So what we're going to do here, yeah, we're not doing that because there's no reason for that to be beeping like it's beeping. I can't get it shut off. Power won't even power it off. Ah, there we go. All right, now shut up. This used to be like the little barber shop.
Okay, you're obviously
I
coming up.
can't find that picture now, though. There was a picture of that, like the top of the Abbey was like burning or on fire.
I don't know, girl, but that curtain was moving and we missed it.
I'm telling you, whatever's in there, I didn't miss because that's a creepy room. It really is.
You're
Yeah, the chapel.
yeah, that's where we were standing. I was waiting for you.
You went in. I was just in the chapel.
No, I didn't go in the chapel. Yeah.
No, the chapel's right here. See, that's the lay in state room. Oh, and here we go. Shit. Yeah, step down. Mother Teresa.
That's Mother Teresa?
Yeah. Oh, that's just grapes. Okay. This room.
Oh, I didn't go.
Yeah, it's
I was over there in that other.
this is where he said the crawler was too, the shadow figures. What'd you smell? Okay, this is kind of creepy. Does anybody see that looks like a thing of Jesus? Here, put that light down. Look, does that look like a?
It's a water stain, isn't it?
It is a water stain,
Yeah.
but it looks like Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yes,
Mother
or the
Mary is
Mary
that?
Mother.
Mary Magdalene. Mhm. Yeah.
Coincidence? Yes, but creepy? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mary Magdalene. See, what is that picture? There was a right there on there.
What is that?
Looks like a Buddhist.
Lauren is saying there's someone in the balcony watching everyone.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
You think
And that right
it could
there
be
is
the
really a
crawler,
statue that
or-
I'm pointing at. It's really not a person. So is that one over here? Yep. And then this just to me is, sad reminder, I guess.
Yeah.
And then this is where,
Not over.
hey, guys, let's go see if we can get our hair pulled. Women are not supposed to go back here. Because, and women get their hair pulled because they didn't want any kind of, there's any kind of misunderstandings when the men were changing.
That is. What is that?
I
And
was gonna say, what on
this
earth
is
symbol is that?
this is showing my religious naivete, but
My light just went out. I did not
Seems
turn
like-
it off.
I was gonna say, it seemed like that went off right after he pointed
It
at it.
did.
Looks a little bit like
it's almost like a
Europe.
Templar's cross.
That's what I was gonna
What
say.
the? I was gonna say, what the
European-
hell is that logo? Is that Linda's asking if that's
Well,
the four
actually, I'll
elements.
take a picture of the one out front. It came from the Vatican. And the outside of it, the inside means something, but the one on the outside, it means, because there was an exorcism done in here just last summer.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah. And they say that exorcisms, the outside of the circle, the one outside, it's in Latin. And what it crudely means is anything exorcised goes into the ground here, never to come out.
Wow.
That's a seal, maybe.
Yeah, I got
Let's
seal
go in here
that's
so we can get our hair pulled.
containing something inside.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only got like 10% battery left.
Okay, go for it.
Okay.
As far as they gone in there, I mean, that place is huge. Looked like it's huge, bigger than a college.
What was that?
I don't know.
It sounded like somebody lined it or like,
No, it was this.
did it again?
Can you do it again? We're listening. All right, well, walk with us. Here's where people get their hair pulled. Women do, because you're not supposed to be in here.
Oops, not cheek.
Chic. Linda Morrison saying it's the cross of Saint Benedict.
Right, this is a Benedict monk thing, yes. Oh, did you hear that? Did anybody else hear that?
I thought I heard something, but I wasn't quite sure what that was.
That's what I heard earlier.
Well, it's out in the hallway.
Are
Okay.
you feeling followed right now?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Linda Judd was just asking that.
We've been followed since that growl.
I heard it out there earlier when you were standing there. It did that. That's why you said, no, it's the door. I said,
Gee,
okay.
that's spooky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo. See, this thing right here, this is where if they have like blessed wine or blessed water, they put it here in this sink and it goes down under the ground here so that it blesses the ground. Then there's real sinks.
Right.
Anthony is saying that since you've left the basement, you've been followed. Whoa.
Yes, I believe that. Oh, here's that hallway. Picture of it, or a painting.
Building those.
Yeah.
Okay, why are you banging behind us?
There was eyes right there.
Okay, what would you like? Why are you following? Do you want to say something? Oh, this is that room. This is old caretaker's room.
Oh, I could see that. Yeah.
Is there a prayer closet?
There is a prayer closet, but it's not like a closet. It's more of a, it's down in the basement.
Let's scoot that.
Like a
And they
confession.
called it a, like a confessional room, but it's
That's
like
what I was.
big.
That's what I was about to ask. Like a confession booth.
Yeah, but it's
see,
kind of big.
Lauren just asked that question too.
And then there's this here. It's a safe,
Oh, I was
That's
going to
a-
say, look at
but
that
nobody
hinges
has
on
a
there.
combo to it.
Yeah, makes you wonder what's inside of it.
Oh, here.
Oh,
Whoa,
you can open it already.
there we go. Air conditioners.
That's over it.
Well, you know, as hot as it was last summer, yeah, I'd keep mine in the safe too.
And this is their office
I thought that was a
here.
cigarette machine.
And this mirror here that's unreal, huge.
Keep
All
it
right,
in the
come on, you
safe.
gonna follow? Let's go. Come on. There's a little chair. I don't know if that's a naughty chair or what.
Oh, that was yours, Bob.
No,
It was down like somebody said, wait, they were crying.
the dogs weren't barking, were they, Zach?
No.
Okay,
It sounded like somebody said,
let's go see.
What's the temperature in there?
I've got two questions for you. One, Adrienne, it's been suggested to ask your follower where the picture of the burning building is.
Yeah, all right, buddy, you gonna show me? What'd you see?
nothing, I heard hiccup.
Oh,
You can't have hiccups right now.
Sorry, you got.
well, something will come out and scare her here in a minute. Let's see.
And what is the temperature in the building?
It's like 50.
So it's
So I've got like 10% battery, so if it dies, that's why. All right, before it dies, we're gonna take you down to the basement and see if we can hear that growl.
okay.
They're following us all along.
That's probably who is following
I
us.
don't know what you're talking about, 'cause he's-
All right, come on, dude, let's go.
They get back where you're supposed to be. It's,
Take you back down to the basement.
I gotta come back and do
Hey,
pictures.
dude, don't
Yeah,
dude,
we will.
don't call me.
I'll turn on the body cam after this so that it's all still being recorded.
Yeah.
Ooh, heat, looky there.
Oh, look at this, what they have on their head. Look at that.
Yeah, that is just
Wow.
an awful reminder. These are the offices here. I want to say the picture was over here somewhere, but I don't know. Self-guided tours of main floor only. Yeah.
You said the building.
Yeah, there was, here it is. It's right here. Maybe it's clouds. I don't know.
That, it almost looks like that picture that I just walked by.
Yeah, I'm gonna say they were
Yeah.
clouds.
They look like clouds. Is
But
there
I'm gonna
like
have to ask if there was a fire.
was there a year on that picture or was there not?
Let's see.
Oh no.
No,
Picture.
no. Okay. go see if we can do this basement real quick before it all dies. All right.
I'm falling behind you. You know where you're going.
Oh, I don't know where I'm going.
Let's go get love.
Oh, that's up. We don't want up. We want down. Yep, that's down. And very dark. Okay. Let's do this.
Yeah, I think it's gonna help.
Ew, that's bird poop. No. No, the other side of the building stairs, yes.
How far down is each flight?
I don't like this area.
How far down is each flight? Like,
It's only about 20 feet.
okay.
But yeah, probably altogether it'd probably be about 20 feet. All right, let's see what's in here. Let's walk down the, yep, here we are. Let's go down the hall.
This is the back way.
Yeah. Okay. This is where the Indian shop was. Yes. Native American,
This is where the crawler likes to hang out.
yep, this is where our crawler should be.
This is where we pick them up at. Is in there. Through that doorway.
This one?
Yippers.
Yep. All right, so we're gonna growl?
I'd growl too if I had that chair. All those fancy chairs those people get. I get that fucking chair.
Hmm.
Did you want to say something now? Yeah, I heard him right in that room. Looks like maybe they locked themselves out here and had to do something. Let's see. Okay, whoa. Whoa. Okay, no.
That's kind of an odd thing at a church.
Yeah, what the hell?
No, this used to be like a museum
Oh, really? I didn't even remember
for
hearing
Native
part of it being a
American
museum.
stuff, yeah. They rented it out to anybody who would pay rent for a while. Tombstone Inn. Huh?
She just lost.
We just lost your picture.
Yep.
That was pretty cool.
Oh, wait a minute. You guys don't think maybe she might have lost? Because I know she said her phone was getting close to dying.
Yeah.
You don't think yeah, that might have been that might have been possible what happened.
She's down to 10%, so
Yeah, and when you're going on live, that drains a lot of that drains your battery much faster. That's why
Yeah.
you're doing a
That's-
camera, you're doing a microphone, you're doing lights.
That-
all that.
that's why whenever I go on investigations, I always carry one of these with me so I can keep
Yeah.
going if I decide to film live.
I think she tried to take one, but I'm not sure if she was able to find it. But I think that what we'll do, folks, is we're going to stick around for another minute or two and see if she's able to make it back on. I definitely cannot guarantee she's going to, but you have been watching Adrienne of things here in Colorado, going through the Holy Cross Abbey in Canyon City. It's one of our first investigations that we're going to try to do here in Colorado. So Nick, what stood out to you there?
It was I think the one thing that kind of stood up was just that corridor that it just had that kind of like body shoot, but also kind of it was like a combination of the death tunnel from Waverly, but also had this catacomb like feel to it.
Yeah, after seeing that picture that you shared with us earlier, that was the first thing that I thought of, because you look down there and it just went from, it was light to just nothingness, I mean, it was really black and
like a bottomless pit.
Yeah, and I really like the idea, and maybe we can all get together and do this again sometime in the future. I like the idea of maybe getting a female, because that's where the nuns walked. Maybe having a female walking up and down and saying a prayer and seeing what happened. I think that would be a great idea. I do. First off, speaking for Adrienne, I want to say thank everybody who has joined us throughout this. I know that she's excited to get out there and get to do this. But thank you for, all the suggestions. Yeah, it's kind of weird, the picture that she had a lot of problems with. It's weird to me because it almost looks like there's a family resemblance in it, but it's not like somebody in particular. It's just kind of, to me, that picture of that guy looked like everybody's uncle. He just looked like that could be one of those guys in everybody's family.
Right. I got that. I was getting that vibe too a couple of times.
Yeah, it seemed to me like that guy would maybe not the nicest uncle in the world, but I mean he's just one of those guys that
somehow fits into the family.
Yeah, maybe smack you with the ruler every time you saw him or something like that. So, the people that we have on here, please let us know what stood out to you. We while we're waiting to see, I think that we probably have lost her for the evening.
Because I haven't seen her come back.
Yeah, so, and I haven't got a message, so if I don't get a message, that means her phone is probably dead. We definitely encourage you to watch this again. Once again, this is all of this is on all of our networks, on Things and on the PAC channel. So we're sharing this. Linda, I can try to call her real quick and see. I'd hate to. There's my dogs.
And also, I just wanted to say, because I know Lauren just said this a few minutes ago. Lauren, my pleasure. If you haven't really, Zach, I don't know if you know who Lauren is. She's become a loyal follower to Things Network. She's been watching a lot of the shows on this network, so I reached out to her to let her know about this live panel investigation. But in addition, I also sent her links to the other networks I'm associated with, including PAC channels. So as time goes on, Lauren will probably be checking out some of the shows on your channel real soon. So I'm glad Lauren was able to join in for tonight. So thanks for tuning in, Lauren. Lauren, we appreciate it.
Yeah, we're not. getting anything from her, so I think that we probably lost her for tonight. But again, I'd like to ask one more time. Before, what do you say, Nick? Let's give it another 9 minutes, and then we'll shut this down. Let's
Yeah,
hear from you
definitely.
guys. What is something that stuck out? Because that was neat. I think this is a place I'd like to see more of. That's for sure.
That makes two
Um,
of us. I like to see more of that as well.
yeah. So, but yeah. I mean, please let us know what. I mean, we know that chapel was just gorgeous. I think that chapel was beautiful.
It
I really
was.
do. And for Adrienne to say that something was kind of creepy, that's weird. I don't hear that from her. I don't hear that from her very often at all.
And I don't
So,
usually, and for me, I mean, I haven't heard that either, but I also certainly have not heard of something like this also involving, especially like in this case, an abbey or a priory or a church. Because, when you think about it, churches, abbeys, and priories, they're designed to be basically basically places of peace in a way. Hey, Jill, you know what? Jill, it's funny you just mentioned that because I mentioned this earlier in the show, saying if I knew about a week or so prior that Adrienne was going to be going to this, I would have done a Nick Files episode on this location.
well, I still think that you should do one up, my friend. I think that we can do like an in retrospect.
Definitely.
Um, of it, and we can learn a little bit more about it. Linda, to answer your question, they are about 3 hours south of us. Canyon City is about 3 hours south of Greeley. So where we're at in northern Colorado. So she took off this morning and got there. But yeah, they were with they got a special package. I was supposed to be with them, but I had dad duty tonight, so that was not possible to go. But yeah, that was fun, and it really was fun. So yeah, and we're still trying to find out a little bit more about this place, and we'll definitely try to do our best to assist Nick on anything that we can do to give him a little more information. But I think that the people have spoken, and we want to see a Nick file on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just so, I mean, and vice versa too, by doing an episode on the Nick Files and talk about the history as well as the activity that's been occurring at this place. That might also help you guys out too with this location.
Yeah. So we will we are. I know that we've got people all over. We've got people all over the place, but here in Colorado, we are planning on doing quite a few different things throughout the summer, and you can stay tuned to the show that you guys do on Thursday evening, and Adrienne will let you know. But we're going to be a little more active, and I think that one of the things that we really want to do, Nick, and we were honored to have Jeremy along with us the last time that he was here, but we went to Cheeseman Park, and
Yes.
Cheeseman Park has a fascinating story. Cheeseman Park in Denver was the original cemetery in Denver, but Denver quickly outgrew it. It was on the north side of Denver, and having a money hungry person removing graves and getting paid for every grave he put back in the ground probably not the best thing to do, because he was splitting up bodies and putting like one body in 2 to 3 graves, in children's
know.
graves.
Well, and if you remember too, I did a Nick Files episode on that, and
Yeah.
that was just the fact of what he did. And not to mention too that I also managed to uncover some rare photographs of like
Mhm.
just the exhumation of the corpses and skeletons that are still coming out of the ground. Like,
Yeah.
even over, I think it was what, back in the 1870s, I think, even over 150 years later, that's still occurring. People are still finding bones as a result of that gravedigger.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of one of those places that you go to, and when you're walking around there, it's such a huge park, and I mean it's really beautiful there. And just the history there, because at one point in time it was like the Times Square of Denver.
Right.
Okay. Now it's been run down a little bit, but I mean they really did a good job on planning the beauty of the park. They just hired the wrong person to exhume and honor the bodies there. And so, and when money's involved with any of this, there's going to be problems. So
It's always a recipe for disaster.
yeah. And then just about a 25-minute drive from there, we went and we visited the gravestone of the lady that the Ouija board was named after. So yeah, I mean it was we really had a great time with Jeremy that night, and her tombstone. I don't know if you've ever seen anything about that, Nick, but you ought to take a look at her tombstone, because there's a Ouija board on it, and they really did a really cool thing with her, and she's got all the symbols on it and everything, and this is the funny story. When we were there, we didn't know where to go. Okay, we're in a graveyard. We don't know where to go. They don't publicly tell people, hey, this is where it is, go and check it out. So we had no idea where we were going. And my eye caught the first mayor of Denver. Okay. And beautiful, beautiful sight for him. And then the memorials for the veterans was right in the same area. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this and admiring those. And all of a sudden, Adrienne, like her butt caught on fire, jumps out of the car and takes off. And all of a sudden I hear this, here it is, here it is, here it is. And I look over and it was right there. I mean, right where we had stopped. So, I mean, it was a really neat coincidence, I guess you can say. So
yeah,
but or maybe we were led to that spot and stopped there. But one of the really cool things about that is they've got like the old personal mausoleums and family mausoleums and stuff. And there you go, Linda. Yeah, we were guided to the spot. But I mean, it was just a great time, and hopefully we can go and investigate that again sometime, and we would definitely like to invite you guys all out if we do that again. But
absolutely, if Jeremy has the chance of driving back that direction, if he doesn't have his bowling leagues, of course, because he's got to drive through Illinois anyway. So I'd be pretty much on the way to Colorado, but it would be seriously awesome to go, because I've heard of this place, and I gotta say, I actually have a little bit of a similar story like that too, in a cemetery. And this was almost 5 years ago. My friend, you remember my friend Tom, right? Tom McNicholas.
yes.
So we went to, we were actually going down to the town of Alton, Illinois, which is regarded as one of the most haunted small towns in America. It's down in southern Illinois, pretty close to the southern Illinois Missouri border. I mean, like right next to the Mississippi River. So, you know, as we were all familiar with a lot of the haunted locations, well, I kept thinking to myself, Alton is known for something else. I'm trying to think, what else is this town known for? I was thinking to myself, I think it was someone who was famous here who lived here. And it came right at me once I saw a poster of it. It was involving a guy by the name of, I don't know if this is going to sound familiar, a guy by the name of Robert Wadlow. Does that name sound familiar?
No, it doesn't.
He is, and to this day, still holds the record for the world's tallest person.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, actually, I have a photo of him. This is, I'm going to share this quickly. This is a photo, you know, there's a couple of them. Let's go with, oh, this one's good enough. So this is let me, hang on one second. All right, so this is a photograph with him standing with his dad. You'll be surprised just how tall this guy is. So that is Robert.
Wow.
So you can pretty much see, obviously, you could see the height difference compared to him and his dad. And he did live in Alton. And so I thought to myself, because I did find out he was buried in one of the cemeteries here in Alton. So so to answer your question, Linda, he reached a record of 9 feet tall. And he still holds that record to this day. Unfortunately, to make a long story short, I mean, he literally started growing right after he was born. I mean, it's like by the time he was like 5 years old, he was already like 5 foot tall. It just seemed like his growth just grew to no end. Unfortunately, though, he did not live that very much. He didn't really live for that long. Yeah, when he died, he was only 22 years old, because, you know, when you're growing so much like that, eventually that's going to seriously take a toll on your entire body, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what exactly happens again to make keeping things real short, but apparently in July of 1940, he also was actually at a few sideshows. So, but that was his choice to make. He at this point, the height that he was at, he had to use braces because his legs could no longer support him with his height. And a faulty brace irritated his ankle, which led to infection. He was treated with a blood transfusion and surgery, but his condition worsened due to autoimmune disease. So sadly, he died in July 15, 1940 at the age of 22. So, but we found out we went to we did find the cemetery where he was buried at, and I don't know what it was. We were driving around it a few times trying to, like, it's a huge cemetery, and it's still in use to this day. So as a result, it is huge, but something pointed me in some direction to go to, and then I guess with a little bit of a help, because there was a YouTube video where you could find it. So I didn't want to really spoil it for me, but I just wanted to at least use the video also, like, to go exactly which directions we needed to go to. And then as soon as right before it was revealed, I said, "Tom, park right here." I get out of the car and I walk a few feet, and there it is. We found his grave. And the weirdest thing was, when we went to his gravestone, this was not a gravestone where, unlike anybody else's, you could just walk right in front of. Literally, like, part of the ground was still heightened up. Like, there was like a bump, like a large bump in the ground, and you realize very quickly that's his coffin right there.
Wow.
Yeah,
it is kind of neat how that works. So, hey everybody, I think that this is going to be it for the show tonight. Once again, I want to thank you very much for joining us. Nick, tell us about Nick Files. When's it on? Where's it at?
Okay, so Nick Files, I air that every Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and of course, it's on a whole bunch of networks. It's on Things Network, of course, it's on Pack Channel, Temple Phoenix Rising Entertainment, Skeleton Key Network, Simply Spooky Network, RU Media Network, BB3 TV, Perry Unity Network. So I'm all over the place, and like I said, I'm starting to do this in addition to the planned episodes that I have that I'm going to be doing. I came up with a new idea, like I said earlier, where for whether for myself or for any investigations for anyone for any investigations that anybody has coming up, if they let me know at least about a week or two in advance, especially prior to the investigation, I will be more than happy to do a presentation, almost a kind of like an advertisement, if you will, just kind of a precursor for the investigation, if you will. So I'm more than happy to do the work for it.
Oh, that sounds great, man. I appreciate it. And my name is Zach Clayton, Mr. Adrienne, as a lot of people like to call me. And I run a company called Community Pay It Forward. I'm also the founder of the Pact channel. That's small PACT for podcasting for all coming together. We focus on nonprofits and small business. We would love to have you join us for some of our shows. Like I said, we have Nick on every week, and we love having him on. If you're interested in running your own podcast, give us a call. Let me know. Reach out to us, because if you're doing good, we just want to make sure that other people know about it. We need to focus on the people who do good and less about the people who are trying to screw things up for everyone. So, but I want to thank you all for joining us. It's been a pretty fun night, Nick. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, because honestly, I didn't have anything else going on tonight, so I was glad to definitely be part of this, and quite an investigation.
Yeah. So, but anyway, again, thank you all. Keep Adrienne's safety in mind. I'm kind of hoping she gets home all in one tomorrow. So let's keep her safety in mind. But thank you all for joining us. Oh, and Linda, you had asked a question. When do we think we're going to be doing the next one? I know that there's talk, and I don't know when, but there's talk about getting into the underground tunnels of Denver.
Oh, that's an awesome idea.
So,
well, also I forgot to mention too earlier. I mean, starting next week, starting next week for me. Hopefully next week, if not next week, possibly the following week. I'm finally having the chance now of becoming more active myself for investigations. I don't know if they're going to I don't know if they're always going to be on every Saturday, but we're going to try filling as much as we can. I'm meeting up with a friend of mine who's actually been a guest on my friend Don's show, Fear Fans. She was on it once by the name of Ava, and she's been really wanting to investigate with me. So we're going to be checking out some different haunted locations. I mean, obviously, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it as like full night or whatever. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But we're going to be checking out some areas throughout her town, because I live just an hour away from the Illinois-Wisconsin border. And she lives up in Kenosha. She's like about 45 minutes away. And she actually gave me a book as a birthday present for me, which talks about different haunted locations throughout Kenosha. So we're going to check out some areas eventually soon in Kenosha. Of course, we're also going to check out some locations over here in Chicago. And then eventually, as time goes on, and I know for a fact it will happen later during the spring and summer, that we are going to check out areas outside of Kenosha and Chicago.
Well, you know what? If you're going to be doing anything, if you're going to be checking anything out, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to share it with people? Let's see what we can do together. All right. Hey, everybody. So we're going to be closing this down, but I just want to say thank you for joining us, and please make sure that you remember that if you're not helping anybody, you're hurting everyone. Hey, nobody has to go it alone when we all come together. Let's make sure that we're taking care of each other. There's only one race in this world, and that's the human race. Let's take care of each other. It's about damn time that we care about other people. So,
Yes.
being alive or dead, let's
Yeah.
take care of each other. Let's take care of other people. So, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you guys next time.
Have a great night.